King's Cross Student Inductions 2011, Justin Tyas, Central St Martin's Health and Safety Advisor. Welcome to our new site. For returning students as well as staff, things may be a little bit different this year. We've actually come to our brand new purpose-built facility. I'm going to explain a little bit about the health and safety and give you a brief induction, which we hope to be supplemented with tours of the building and familiarisation exercises. Please be aware that our new site has been handed over. We're hopefully not going to have any snagging issues, but everybody will be getting used to the building. And although our new building has been handed over, we are in the wider King's Cross redevelopment area, and there may be ongoing construction works in close proximity to our building, so please be vigilant. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the induction and what we expect, and if you have any questions, I'm Justin Tyas, please get in contact with me. Hopefully you won't have a first aid incident when you're here at Central St Martin's and you have a really great time. We do need to record if you do have a minor incident. I'm talking about something like a cut finger or a small knock or a bruise. It's really important that we get a record of all accidents and incidents, the sort of near accidents. And the way to do that is to record it on the accident incident form, which is available from reception and also from facilities colleagues as well. We normally expect the course tutor to fill those out. We also have lists for whether it be a minor incident or a major incident, a more serious incident. We have lists of first aiders on notice boards. We also have signage around. Look for the green sign with the white cross on it. So know where your nearest first aider is. Hopefully, you won't have a major incident while you're here at St Martin's. If you do have if there is a serious incident and you need a first aider, again, you need to know where that information is. Course tutors and yourselves need to be familiar. If we do need to contact the emergency services, get an ambulance, for example, here, that can be done through reception or through facilities colleagues. I need to know as the health and safety advisor if there's a major incident. And also, we really do need to get it recorded down on the accident incident form, partly because we actually need to look and review and to see what's happened and to ensure that we've put in steps wherever possible to ensure that a similar accident doesn't happen. We're also interested, very importantly, in recording the near accidents, the near miss where someone's almost had an accident, because that's a really good opportunity for us to stop things, incidents, accidents from actually happening and being realised. So we need to know. Just talking a little bit more about fire safety in particular, we have a brand new purpose building, a very safe building in terms of fire safety, but if you do see a fire, smoke, any concerns, then please do press the red call box, the manual call box that you can see here, press it straight away and leave the building as soon as possible, closing windows and doors if you can. If you hear the alarm, leave the building immediately, again, by your nearest exit. Most people think that actually, or try and go out the way they've come in the building, but that may not be your nearest exit. One of the very simple ways to find your nearest exit is to look for the green running person and sign, and that should be taking you out to the first place of safety out of the building, your quickest route out of the building. If you can, again, shut the windows and doors behind you, because that's going to hopefully stop the spread of smoke or fire. And you'll need to move away from the building at least 100 metres for 20 minutes or more. Please don't go in lifts, and also please don't try and re-enter the building without being authorised to do so. You'll be told that you can come in the building by the incident manager or possibly the London Fire Brigade if it is a real incident. So don't try and come back within 20 minutes. We do test the alarms every week, and we will let you know that's happening. You will see signs around the building saying the alarm's going to be tested today. We also run a termly fire drill, and all student, staff, visitors need to comply with this. Failure to do so could result in disciplinary procedures. You won't be told when the fire drill is going to happen, neither will course tutors, leaders or technicians as well. The other thing we need to know is that if students have disability or access needs, then we can put arrangements in place to ensure their safe evacuation from our building if there's an emergency situation. So we can put in place a so-called personal emergency evacuation plan, which we can develop with the student with the help of the disability services as well. So we need to know. If as a student you're coming as an occasional visitor, or you know people are coming as occasional visitors who have access or disability needs, the site runs a so-called general emergency evacuation plan, and we need to know if people are coming so we can put that plan into effect and again ensure people's safe evacuation from the building in case of an emergency. A few things we'd like you not to do, please. We want you to have a very good time here at St Martin's, but please don't block fire escapes, corridors, please don't store flammable materials on fire exit routes or block them. Please don't pin, scratch, draw on common areas such as walls, fly posters, put fly posters up. Please don't scrawl on the street. The use of fire is strictly prohibited. There may be occasions where under very strict conditions naked flames could be used, but you would need to have permission in advance from myself as the safety advisor and the facilities team. So by and large it's pretty much banned. If it was ever allowed, it would be under very strict conditions and protocols agreed in advance. If you have any concerns, then again speak to myself or speak to one of the facilities managers or one of their team. In terms of electrical safety, we, the college, through the university, have banned the so-called cube adapters that you see on here. And the reason for this is that these adapters draw a lot of power through them and can get very hot, and they have been known to catch fire. We use at the college extension leads that are surge protected as far as possible. If you are bringing in electrical items such as projectors and things from home, then they will need to be PAT tested. PAT test is just a portable appliance test to make sure the electrical integrity and the piece of kit is basically safe. Part of our conditions of insurance again as well. If you're bringing in things like laptops and mobile phones, well that's generally, mobile phone adapters, that's generally okay. You won't have to have those done, but almost everything else, particularly around things like degree show times where people want to bring things in, they'll need to be PAT tested and organised through facilities, and there will be a charge for that. In terms of college security, well, you won't get your ID pass unless you've done this basic induction. All students and staff will be required to wear their ID badge at all times, and it will be pre-programmed to give you access controls to the areas that you need to have access to. Conversely, it will stop you from having access to areas that you shouldn't have access to. Visitors, if they come on site, will always need to be signed in by a responsible person, normally the course leader. And generally speaking, we don't allow animals or children on site, and certainly not without permission beforehand. In terms of students working alone, that's not possible. We have the so-called 3-student rule. So if students want to work on lower risk type activities, workshops, then that may be permitted without direct supervision, but there must be at least 3 students. And this is for practical safety reasons because, for example, if someone was to be ill, someone could go off and get help while the other person looked after someone who was ill. Also, the other thing is as well is that students will never be allowed to use, higher risk workshops and activities. Those will all be closed off, so it'll be generally lower risk things that you can do. In terms of the so-called risk assessment, the college has a legal duty to ensure that risk assessments are in place, and generally speaking, these will be in place for the activities you do through your course and the equipment that you use. However, there may be times when, for example, during degree shows or during a shoot or an exhibition, you're doing something a bit different that hasn't been done before. In that instance, risk assessments need to be in place in advance. We may not have insurance if risk assessments aren't in place because, as I said, they are legal duty. All a risk assessment really is a careful examination of what might cause harm, and just to check that you've got enough controls in place, or precautions if you like, to protect yourself and others from getting hurt. Risk assessments are subject to ongoing monitoring, and fortunately there is a lot of advice and information available, including tools for students and tutors on Blackboard and on the intranet as well. And again, if you need any advice or support, or your tutors do, they can come to me as the health and safety advisor. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions, so please contact myself or talk to your course tutor, one of the assistant facilities managers or the technicians, and I'm sure they'll be happy to help. We are expecting, this is a basic introductory information, that this is supplemented by tours of the building. So please don't forget, become familiar with the building, know where your nearest exit routes are, how to find the green person and get out the building quickly, where your first aid point is and where your first aiders are, and where the call points, the red box if you like on the wall is if you need to press it if there's a fire emergency. So get familiar. You can also talk to our assistant facilities managers, Rachel Fisher or Emily Foodie, who generally act as the incident manager if we have a major problem like a fire or a fire alarm activation. So you can also contact them as well. As I said, there's lots of information online on Blackboard, so get familiar with it, find out where it is. We also have a couple of very key documents which should be on notice boards, such as your local Part 3 health and safety arrangements, which detail again evacuation procedure information, details of first aiders on site. I hope you have a happy and successful 2011. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any queries or concerns, please contact me, Justin Tyas, the CSM's Health and Safety Advisor. Thank you.